Beautiful. Hi, this is Patrick from JDM Gems. Today we're going to be working on this 1994 Daihatsu Hijet. The work we're going to be doing is installing a lift kit along with rear shocks, new front shocks, and progressive springs. We're also going to be installing these 14x7 ATV wheels with 23x10 tires. The springs, we're going to be using a QA1 175 350. These are 12 inches long. They might be a little bit too long for application, so we might be grinding off a ring on either side to make it fit in the perch better. We're going to be using these KYB shocks. These are front shocks, part number 633118 and 633117. The rear shocks, we're going to be using Rancho, part number RS999119. These are fully adjustable, however, they're just a bit wide, so we're going to see if they're going to fit on the Hijet. Next is just a standard 2-inch lift kit for the Hijet, new top hat, extenders, and then rear shackles. First thing we're going to do is measure the distance from the bottom of the door to the ground to get an idea of how much we actually lifted the vehicle. Just about 24 1/4. And in the back, about 25 1/4. We'll do the lift kit in the front first. Let's just take the brake line bracket off. Okay. Take these 2 bolts off the shock. Pop this top to access this bolt. You can see this is the old Hijet shock, this is the new one. They appear to be about the same height, fully extended. The only differences I'm noticing is the brake line mounting position. It's a little different. So here it's asking for a sort of pressure clip, as here it's going to be a bolt, but maybe we can use this one. So we'll see when we mount these. This is the spring that we're going to try to put in. This is the original. The height on this is exactly 12 inches, and this one about 10 1/4 if I count this last rung. So the overall diameter is about 3 and almost 3 1/2. This one's about 3 3/4. So the reason why we're doing a little bit narrower spring is for extra clearance for our tire. Everyone says that these should work, so I might have to cut a couple rungs. Also, I do want to cut a couple rungs since this spring is recessed to the spring below it. As with these coil springs, it's flat, so when you put it in, it might be a little bit crooked. To show you, the new spring, the perch right here has a drop off and it's not flat. So we're gonna grind a rung off of our new coil so we can get it to sit in that perch nicely and to be able to have the proper height to match our stock height. So for the top of the spring, I'm gonna be cutting about half a rung, about right here. And on the bottom, I'm probably gonna do an entire rung. So I cut 1 full ring on the bottom of the spring and about half on the top. And I was happy with the top, how it fit into the perch, but it's a little bit too tall still. So I'm just gonna cut 1 more ring off the bottom and we should be good to go from there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smooth out these rough edges. Perfect. So now that I cut 2 coils off the bottom and half a coil on the top, it is about just a tad over 11 inches, 11 1/4. And the factory was just above 10 1/4. So we're still about 1 inch off from it fitting. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to compress the spring a little bit before I put it on here because it's not gonna bolt up. We're gonna just use zip ties. So we're just gonna try it with this method first, and if not, we'll get some sort of thin spring compressors. So unfortunately, I couldn't compress this enough to get it on the shock. So I'm gonna be using a spring compressor to do the rest. Alright, so next we gotta figure out how to put this lift kit together. This is gonna be for the front. Okay. We're gonna camber out a little bit, so we're gonna bolt it like that. There's like little access holes. Alright, so I'm gonna try getting this through here. You can hold it, looks like. That way I can tighten this down. Alright, now I can put it in. But what's weird is, it's almost like they expect us to use these. Why'd they make these holes so big? Because that's all they gave us, was these, and then the provided nut. Let's try to put it in. Alright, let's see if this fits. Fuck. As I was putting these shocks in, I noticed it wasn't fitting right. And if you can see here, these two poles are in roughly the same spot. And towards the bottom, you can see this one is a little bit lower than this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to Dremel out one of these two to make it either lower or higher so that this shock will work. So I ovaled out this hole right here on the bottom of the shock. As you can see, and then I painted over it to prevent rust. So let's put it on and see if this works. There. Bolt's not all the way seated because it's a little ridge, but I'm gonna deal with that later. I just want to get that on right now. I'm not gonna tighten this bottom one just yet. I gotta make sure it's gonna fit. Alright, let's see if the wheel can get put on. I'm not gonna worry about bolting these up right now. I'm simply just gonna put the wheel on and see if the axle's not binding and that this is an okay setup before I go any further. So the wheel is back on. You can see the lift kit is on with the spring and the new shock. So let's measure the distance from the ground to the door. Again, this is only with the left side put on. I haven't put the other side on yet. It's at about 27 and 1/8. 27 and 1/8. So it's just a little under 3-inch raise. We still haven't accommodated for the other side lifting it. Might lift this side a little bit more. And of course, the springs are gonna settle a little bit. So we'll see whenever everything's all said and done what the actual height is. Alright, so we finished putting the lift kit on in the front, so I'm going to start in the back. I noticed that the toe in the front is a little bit off, so I'll be messing with that later. When I put the new wheels on, I'm going to have to trim a little bit of the body, but we'll see. We'll get to that later. Let's just focus on the back, and we'll get started. Oh, there's still a bushing stuck on here. I think there's a bushing stuck on here. So here you can see the shocks. This is the one we just took out. This is the one we're gonna try to put in. You can see this one has a lot more girth to it. So I actually already test fitted this as soon as I bought it, just to know if I should return it or not. And actually it was almost hitting right here. It was probably about 2 millimeters away. So I'm just gonna grind this down right here a little bit, and then I'll put the shock on. I'm just gonna put a little bit of paint on here to prevent it from rusting. So just put a zip tie on here. I'm gonna adjust it all the way soft. So it's at 1, so it's gonna be all the way soft. Let's see here. All right. There we go. All right. So I put these washers back on. So this part right here is gonna go against the shock, and this part's gonna be against the outside, so it'll be like that. Oh yeah, I did want to put the adjustment knob on top, just to prevent any debris or whatever from hitting this side of it. If I'm going through like shrubs, that'll stay on top. Protect a little bit. It'll be a little bit harder to move it if I wanted to, and if I did on this side, but I think this is a better side to put this on. Just to the bottom. Alright. So now I'll be taking off this shackle and I'll be replacing it with the extended one. Okay. Alright. Now I'm just gonna get some leverage on this guy. Alright. Oh no! There's a tube here. There's a tube in the way. Where's my this side? Oh, there it is. Okie doke. Compress. Yeah. Ah, got it. Shit, gas cap is in the way. Alright. Beautiful. Let's put the wheel on. Check and measure the height, and then we'll put the wheels on. Yeah, that's our order of operation here. All right, so we got the entire lift kit put on. So the back we're at 27 and an eighth. 27 and 5/8. Alright, that's it. So we're just gonna check the height from the bottom of the door to the ground with these wheels on. 28 3/4. On the back, 27 3/4, I think. 27 3/4.
So that concludes part 1 of the lift kit for the Hijet. For part 2, I'm gonna be installing new brake lines since the ones that we had on the car did not match up with the shocks. Also, the toe is very far off, so I'm gonna be adjusting that. And the front tires are pretty close to the door, so we'll see if we have to do some trimming. We hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's good. Ooh. Are you okay? Please subscribe so we can do this. Please subscribe so we can do this.